I continue to be thoroughly unimpressed with the reaction to Twitter Files Part 3. Don't get me wrong, the information is great. The question is, now that Elon is giving us this information, what are we doing with the information? How are we critically thinking through the information? That part has been a huge fail. And believe it or not, I'm questioning if this is a op from Elon, from the government. I'm not saying I know that for sure, but we don't know either way. And that's the problem. Let me go through a little thread that I put together. This is in response to Twitter Files 3. I can do a different video getting more in depth in it, but really my channel is taking the helicopter view up. And I like doing deep dives, but I just want to say, okay, basically what was Twitter Files 3 about? Basically, Twitter Files 3 was all about the decision leading up to, and I believe it covered on J6 as well. And then they're going to release more about after J6 and basically banning the account of Donald Trump. So in regards to that, Ian Miles Chung creates a discussion. No beef with him. I don't even know him very well. I'm just using him as a place of discussion. He posts, never forget. Jack had all these tweets. For example, in January 14th, 2021, Jack Dorsey says, "I do not celebrate or feel pride in our having to ban real Donald Trump from Twitter or how we got here. After a clear warning, we take this action. We made a decision with the best information we had based on the issues, these threats on and off of Twitter. Was this correct? I believe it was the right decision for Twitter." So he's going down talking about trying to justify the banning of a he's still an active president at that time, which was unprecedented. In the Twitter Files 3, they even acknowledged it, like, damn, has this ever happened before? So they knew the ramifications of what they were doing. But here's my question for Ian and others. So Ian's posting this never forget. And I'm thinking, like, why are you looking back at that? We're looking at the Twitter Files, so we look at the past. Whenever you're looking at what happened in the past, it's no different than I talk to these people about. I don't mean these people in a bad way, but the people who believe in reparations and slavery. They are so consumed with it. And I tell them, you're driving a car and you're looking backwards. When you drive a car, you've got to have your head on a swivel. Sometimes you do need to look backward. That's why you have a rear view mirror. But if you're looking only at the rearview mirror, then you're obviously going to crash into something because you don't know where you're going. We're moving. This car isn't stopped. Life goes on. It doesn't stop. So the same principle applies here. We're talking about the past, Ian. So what I do is I look at the past. I just take a brief look left or right or in the rearview mirror, and then I'm like, I'm going forward. So what does the past mean for me now? So let's look at it, Ian and others. No beef. Again, no beef with Ian. I'm just generally speaking. So I said, Ian, can you explain to me with this Twitter Files 3 release, this asinine Twitter Files 3 and then the 4, wait until I do like my Michael Schellenberger, though. He's dope. I can't wait for his. I think his is coming today. But I'm just like, man, this is stupid. But for Twitter Files 3, can you explain to me the difference between Jack banning Trump based on incitement to violence is the reason why they banned him, and Elon banning Ye, which just happened, whatever, a week or two or whatever ago? What's the difference? Elon and Jack both did the exact same thing. You might agree with one more than the other. I'm talking about principle, from the principality, from the idea, from the foundation, from the moral foundation, from the structure of Twitter. What is the difference between Jack banning Trump and Elon banning Ye? The answer is there is no difference. Fundamentally, there's no difference between them. So I continue on that, and then that carries me on this thought process. Ye is a potential 2024 candidate for president. This is election interference. So let me keep on going on my thread here. And then I showed the receipts that thank you to Jack Posovic, said in a move that shows Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, is building out a political operation. The FEC just received an update to his campaign committee. This is the type of work necessary before any potential 2024 bid. Just to show that you can say what you want about him, but he is seriously considering this. He has ran before. It was a kind of a rough campaign, didn't get on every state. It was last second. But that is a real candidate, and that's a real political figure. There aren't many figures you can go to 100 random people in the world and say, who's this guy? And they know who he is. So you could, and they said the same thing about Trump, like he wasn't serious. So don't give me this, oh, he's not serious. Oh, he said this, he can't run. That's irrelevant. This is an interference. So I said the whole Twitter thing feels like an op to me right now. Believe it or not. It feels like an op. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying what it feels like. I'm not questioning the data. I think the data is accurate that we're getting. But remember, Elon had that time. Elon was suing to, if I remember this correctly, I don't retain this information good, even though I did videos and talked about it. I believe so. There was a lawsuit between Twitter and Elon, and Twitter wanted to force Elon to buy it. And I never bought it. I was like, I don't think they really want Elon to buy it because look at all the information. So, and then Elon didn't want to buy it because he was overpaying for it and they were bleeding money. And then the economy was tanking at the same time. And inflation and rates were going up higher. All the economics of it were like, Elon's like, ooh, I don't know if I like that price. If it was 1 billion, he would have happily bought it, obviously. Not 44, 45, 46, whatever. So then all of a sudden they made up. And I was like, this is weird. And I'm like, I don't want to be on here black pilled all the time. I want to be white pilled. I want to be all pilled. But I'm like, something feels weird. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go with this. I'm going to figure it out. I didn't pop any bottles because something felt weird to me. What if, who knows? This is possible, though. I'm not saying this is true. What if Elon made a deal with the government and said, because I heard it from Tim at first, I never thought about it. Like Twitter is an administrative, I knew that. Twitter is an administrative state branch of the government, effectively. Basically, in reality, that's what it is. So they would never sell to Elon. So what if that time of that lawsuit was Elon working with the government to say, hey, you guys, I got a problem here. The financials don't work. I'm going to get it. What can we do here? Because I'm going to get it and then nobody trusts it. So what if I've got to let some of this stuff out. Okay? I've got to let some of this stuff out. A lot of this stuff out to get trust from people, even though I still rock with you. If you want to communicate with Twitter going forward, it's directly to the head honcho. It's to me, nobody else. So you avoid all this Slack conversation and all this Yoel Ross and Vijaya Gades and all these randos blurting out in the Slack and blurting stuff just very brazenly in the email. You just talk to me on this channel. They talk about Elon works with the U.S. on national security at the highest level with SpaceX. That's the Defense Department. That's stuff that nobody's getting to see communications from. So why couldn't he do the same line of communication with the government and say, I've got to do something. I got to let Don Dada back. I got to do something to gain trust. But me and you, we still got this relationship. Here's how we'll work it out. How do we know that didn't happen? And then Elon's like, okay, you agree with that? Then I'll buy it. And then this was all part of the plan. Well, let me show you why I think that. You might think I'm crazy, but let me tell you why. Even if I'm wrong, it doesn't matter. The reaction to this Twitter release is bunk. It's not critical thinking. These journalists aren't doing their job. So that's why I started this channel. So going back to this tweet, I said something feels off. I've followed Elon for years. So I just got a vibe from listening to hours of his interviews and stuff like that. And thankfully it's paying off because it's like I'm doing chores and listening to Elon Musk. Like, what's the point of this? I could be listening to books to educate myself or get a degree or something. You know what I mean? So I think it's paying off in that I can get a vibe from him, whether I'm right or wrong. I've rarely been critical of him. I've been very supportive of him. I still am. But in this aspect, he's lying to us, point blank. He's BSing us. Full stop. I have no debate about that, no doubt in my mind. That is an opinion, but there is zero doubt in my mind. Let me show you where. He fired Vijaya Gade, and I did the live, and I was like, Elon fired them, and I was like, ooh, look at that. But Elon fired Vijaya Gade, who's the head of legal, but she wasn't really running stuff looking at the Twitter files. To me, it was really James Baker, ex-FBI, Hillary C., DNC connections. CIA, FBI connections. He was the real boss. He was the real connect, in my opinion. He reported to Vijaya. So you mean to tell me that Elon Musk fired Vijaya Gotti and didn't know that James Baker was reporting, or not just Elon, anyone around Elon didn't know that? And they didn't know it until Barry Weiss said something? You must think I'm a damn fool if you think that I think that Elon Musk didn't know ex-CIA, ex-FBI's involved. You don't think Elon knew that? Get out of here. Why hasn't any reporter, I haven't seen this question asked. It's a logic, there are many logical next questions that nobody I'm seeing nobody ask the question. Why they're asking Elon questions of, oh, the government this and the government that. I understand, but we got to live in the present. Elon owns Twitter now. I care more about now. Use the past to figure out what's happening next. Now, I have not heard any reporter ask Elon, now that we know James Baker was there, and I don't know, did you know he was there? I didn't even hear that question. Did you know he was there? Did you know he was ex-FBI? Did you know his connections? And then why haven't they asked are there any government intelligent officials that are still working at the company right now? Isn't that the next logical question for us to ask? If Elon Musk, in the past administration, Jack would never answer that question, but Elon Musk is supposed to be all this transparency. Let's test where the transparency ends. Ask the question. Who is ex-government official, intelligence, any of that that's still working for the company right now? Let us know. Where's the question? Why wouldn't Elon volunteer it if he's being so transparent? Twitter Files 1, let's look at the releases. Twitter Files 1 was about interference to the process of us choosing people to represent us. We got info, but nothing is fundamentally changing. In fact, I just told you about Elon is interfering with the 2024 election. Nothing's changed. So you release the files, and Elon hasn't. In fact, he just did that recently. So what's the point of the release of the files? Part 2 was about Vijaya, Jack, and Yoel believing that believing in freedom of speech, but not freedom of reach. For example, shadow banning Charlie Kirk. Elon believes in the exact same thing. Now, he might not shadow ban in the same way. He might not do it to the same people, but fundamentally, nothing's changed. And say Elon is, for whatever reason, gone tomorrow. Somebody comes into Twitter. Now it's a new philosophy that's doing the same foundation. This is Elon Musk's new Twitter policy is freedom of speech. What is new about that? That's not new. That's what they were doing before. This is an op. Elon's smarter than me. He knows all this. He knows this is bull. Negative hate tweets will be max boosted and monetized. So if Elon Musk steps down right now, fundamentally nothing's changed. You're at the whim of what the ideology of the next person is. This is the same foundation. It might be even worse. It might be even worse than before. Twitter Files 3 was about the Don Dada banning. It's the same is what happening to AJ, Nick Fury. Pick the names. There's a ton of them. Generals and all that. So Twitter 1, 2, and 3 all dropped, and nothing is fundamentally changing. Elon has not. The biggest thing that he has spoken out recently about fundamentally changing is showing if you got shadow banned or not. Hasn't happened yet. And how do we know how do we know if that's even accurate? So nothing's fundamentally changing. So at the end, I don't know what's going on, but things don't feel right. Because Elon Musk, there's nothing I'm telling you that Elon Musk doesn't know. Nothing changing. No one's asking Elon the tough questions. At the end of the day, the biggest takeaway from all the Twitter files, I've seen Scott Adams tweeting. He is so cringe sometimes, tweeting like the Twitter files are no big deal. And so what's your takeaway, bruh? Like, I almost want to find that tweet to look at how stupid some of these people are. That it's amazing at how, and I'm sorry to use like really unevolved words like calling somebody stupid, but it's just I don't know how else. I don't have the vocabulary, y'all. This is stupid. This is Scott Adams again So Scott Adams says, have the Twitter files revealed any bad intentions within Twitter? To me, it looks like the employees suffered from narrative poisoning and believed they were making the country a better place, and I don't think they broke any laws. Okay, whatever. So what's your takeaway? That's your takeaway? That's your big takeaway from the Twitter files, Scott Adams? It's so cringe. It's just so, I don't know. It's just stupid. I don't know what else to call it. It's stupid with two O's. So my response to it is, what's the big takeaway? This is the problem that's showing me. Elon knows this too. And why aren't journalists, Scott Adams is just a talking head, but cartoon guy, great at his cartoon stuff, but his takeaways are terrible. Why isn't Michael Knowles and Candace Owens and all these, Jordan Peterson and Carl Benjamin and no one, I haven't heard, who else has taken this away? Maybe Jimmy Dore, who's been saying it before. What the Twitter files prove is that Twitter is a virtual town square, and none of our laws currently are too antiquated to clearly protect our rights digitally. As technology improves, electric cars, satellites in space where you get your internet that can be easily monitored, cut off, all that kind of stuff, chips and brains. You can't stop technology. All of that stuff is going to happen. Just like it would be as idiotic as somebody in 1980 saying we have to stop the advancement of the cell phone. It's impossible. So we are going to have chips and brains. We're going to have the metaverse. We're having all of it. You can't stop it. It is impossible. And that's one of my biggest frustrations with Timcast when they have that conversation. Nobody brings that up. They all talk about, I'm against transhumanism. It doesn't matter if you're against transhumanism or not. It's going to happen. It would be like before the invention of the Model T from Henry Ford in the car and the manufacturing line, it'd be like saying, I want to ride horses. I'm against this invention of the car. Okay, you might be against it, but it's going to happen regardless. So as technology improves, the danger becomes more serious to our freedom. Nobody knows that better than Elon Musk. So for him to release the Twitter files and not acknowledge that that's the biggest takeaway, that's the biggest problem, everybody's going to this, and I'm sorry, I just got to let this out before I go. We're going to have fun with my kids. We're going to go to this winter fest and all that, so don't think I'm too crazy in here, but I feel good when I let this stuff out. Let me get this little rant out. People are so concerned about, what are the consequences? Let's get this person in jail. Let's get this person in prison. Bruh. This stuff could still be happening right now. I'm not saying it is, but it's factually, it could be happening. Nobody would know. You don't know the communications from the Defense Department to Elon Musk, so nobody would know. So it could still be happening right now. Why aren't you more concerned about, we need to make a push to let everybody know, this is bigger than Twitter. It could be happening right now on Google, YouTube, on Twitch, on every freaking platform out there, from Meta to Instagram. It's happening right now, potentially. Let's fix that. It's going to take forever to get enough people to rally to amend the Constitution or do whatever we need to do. That is way more important than trying to put somebody like Jim Baker, Vijaya Gotti in jail, hypothetically, if you even could. I don't know if you could, or suing them, when there's a million Vijaya Gottis out there. There's a state-sponsored religion that's creating them right now in middle school, in elementary school, in high school, and college, and people getting positions. And you get rid of these people. There's a million. Get rid of Christopher Wray at FBI. There's a million people who would want to be the next Christopher Wray. That's not solving the problem. The digital rights are the biggest takeaway, and it has to start now. MAGA's not talking about it. The populist left's not talking about it. Nobody's talking about it. That's the biggest takeaway. And if you agree with me, support the channel however you can. I don't care. You figure out however you want to support. Share the video, like, whatever. Clown the video, clip the video, make fun of the gear. Doesn't matter. That's all. No, it all is support and love. And I appreciate y'all. I'm going to go ahead. I got to clean bathrooms. I got to do chores. I'm a dad. So I got to go clean some bathrooms. We're going to go have fun at the winter fest, and I gotta do some little Christmas type stuff, shopping, And I got to put together my chore list. So let me get the hell out of here. Let me know what you think. Appreciate you. Take care.